soon as I get out, where would I go? That's a good question. I want.
There's no time limit on it.
Sure,
but
sure.
What's the first restaurant you go to? What are you eating?
First restaurant I go to, mate. Let me think about it. Have you got one? Have you got an answer good to go? Because I want to think about this.
I've got an answer.
Go for it.
Okay, so this.
Of course you do.
We've talked about this restaurant before, and it's. I mean, we're the Blokes podcast. This must be the most low-key restaurant imaginable. It's called Rules, and it's in central London, sort of near Covent Garden-ish area. And it is just the most old-school, traditional English meat restaurant. Right? So they serve like pheasant, partridge, rabbit, squirrel, all these old-fashioned meats. You would probably call them nowadays, but like old-fashioned dishes, bone marrow. There must just be so much fat, so much salt, but it's a premium quality restaurant, and I've never been, but I've seen it all the time, and I've read about it all the time. It actually features in James Bond, I think it's the most recent one, Spectre, where they're trying to find M. And he's having his dinner in some restaurant, and it's Rules, basically. So, like, the head of the Secret Service dines there. So it's definitely good enough for me, if it's good enough for him.
Absolutely, mate. Oh, man.
That's top of my list, basically.
Okay. I love it. And that's the... they've got the bone marrow, right?
They've got marrow.
Okay.
Yep. So I've only had this once before, actually, marrow. I had it in Switzerland in a little ski chalet restaurant.
Okay.
And... I gotta be honest, I didn't like it as much as I wanted to. I really wanted to like it.
I want to love this so much. Yeah, man. I know.
I don't know. Maybe it was just Swiss bone marrow or something, like the way they prepared it. But I was like, it wasn't top of my list. But I'm going to persist, and I'm going to love it. Yeah. I'm going to try again. I'm going to find the right one, and I'm going to love it.
So I'm assuming it's kind of like pate, right?
Yes, exactly. It's sort of like a smooth meat. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a mushy sort of meat mousse.
Wow.
Once a bad phrase.
That brings me back to my university days where I used to, at the dregs of my overdraft, buy meat paste to have on toast.
Oh, meat paste sandwiches. They were the best.
Oh, man.
Meat paste is great, man. People don't eat enough. Mind you, that's probably the exact opposite of what we've just been saying.
Yeah, exactly right.
Meat paste probably isn't. I mean, as a kid, though, I didn't know what quality it was.
For sure.
It tastes good. I'll give them that.
It did taste good. I mean, to be fair, I didn't go for the chicken paste or the beef paste. I went for the just meat paste. It doesn't specify what animal it is, and it's like a mixture of all the offcuts of whatever they had on the floor. I bet,
all the animals.
Yeah,
mind you, that's not wasting stuff.
100%.
There's probably a lot of offcuts and stuff that people don't like to eat because they're so squeamish.
Yeah.
So we never know. It might, fingers crossed, it might be good. It might be offcuts of like prime steak or whatever, bits that are just mushed up.
Yeah,
let's go with that.
Okay, yeah, I'm down with that. Okay, so Rules. I mean, great choice. I've been wanting to go there for a long time actually because of the bone marrow. I watched a YouTube video. I forget what the channel was, but it was about their sort of specialty, their sort of bone marrow, and it did look amazing. And I love the fact, I think their menu changes pretty much with whatever they have. They're pretty loose on their menu, which I love as well because, what they've got in either in season or in the fridges or whatever that they can make a good meal with, they're going to make it. They're not going to cut corners just to have the same menu every day in, day out. But yeah, good. Okay, I've got a couple things. I guess this might be cheating. The first place I want to go to, which I've mentioned before, is Gordon's Wine Bar, which isn't a restaurant.
Oh, yes.
But it's like I can't imagine a worse place. I can't imagine a worse place to socially distance in.
It's so cramped and humid and God, the waiters and waitresses can barely fit by you as they're delivering drinks to another table. So that's the worst place. But it is incredibly fun though. Yeah,
amazing, love it. Okay, and then maybe Big Easy for a restaurant.
Oh, mate. I was just about to say that.
Really?
Just about to say that. Yeah, that was the second one on my list. I was thinking in my brain, as soon as Greg said his, I'm going to say Big Easy.
I love it.
Mate, the big dustbin lid full of meat. Oh. We've got to do that again. That was a great night. I mean, because the combination of all the bourbon and rye and all the whiskey and stuff.
Oh, man.
And all these different barbecued meats. Yeah, Big Easy, for anyone who doesn't know, is like a barbecued meat joint in central London.
There's two. So if you want in all the whiskies, you need to go to the right one, and I've forgotten which one it is. Do you know which one it was that we went to?
Does one of them not have... Well, we went to the one almost exactly opposite Rules. Just coincidentally.
Really?
It's almost exactly opposite, yeah.
Okay, so so that one, I think we saw, where it has the ladders, because the whiskey bar is so big, they got ladders going up it. And it's like a library where they slide the ladders along to get the books at the top. But it's instead of books, it's delicious, delicious whiskey. And that place is amazing. And there is another one that I think is more of a seafood. It's still barbecue, but it's got more like lobster and that kind of stuff on the menu.
Soft shell crab and stuff.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
But it has a lot less of a whiskey list. I don't know why. But yeah, so, I mean, both are great. But just, if you're wanting the thick whiskey list that like they slam on the table and it shakes everything.
It's like a book.
Yeah, exactly. Then make sure you go to the right one. But you'll be able to research that and find it. Love it. Okay, let me tell you about this fishing trip.
Oh yes, great.
We've been on the meat chat for a while, but I want to carry on for a little while.
Let's give fish a good shake.
Yeah. Dude, it was possibly one of the best fishing trips in terms of like quantity of fish I've ever been on.
No way. Okay,
100%.
And this is after our experience of when we first became mates many years ago. We went on a fishing trip.
We did, yeah.
Mind you, though, you must have caught about 10, 11, 12 fish, but they were all tiddlers, I guess. So if we're talking like quantity, like pounds of flesh, maybe you got a bit more. In terms of the number of fish, you got loads.
Yeah, yeah, that was good. That was good. I mean, we jerry-rigged a rod together and we went, I don't even know if we were supposed to be there, but like just right in the middle of the busiest part of the Guildford Canal, where there was no hope of any decent fish whatsoever, but we were there for hours. And that was a lot of fun, dude. Like, even like smell what you catch. If you catch a few, then that's all good and fun.
Well, the thing is, right, we were standing either side of a little, what do you call it? Like a little fork in the river. So we were on the central little reservation of land, and you were on one side and I was on the other side, and you were like pulling these things out all day long, and I think I maybe got one on the other side, and I was like, what is this? Like, we've got the same bait, the same rod, all this. And then maybe like 5 minutes before we decided to give up and go to the pub, I was just like, I'll just have a quick go on your side, and I got like two, and I was like, that's the reason.
Well,
they were just all swimming down that side of the river.
That's it. It's knowledge is half the battle, Adam. Okay.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, what a day. We need to go fishing again. I'll take you back to this place. But I've been there a few times and it's never been this good. So it's in a place called Churt in Hampshire.
Okay.
And it's a stocked pond. So like it's stocked. It's all rainbow trout. It's all fly fishing. Well, there's brown trout and blue trout and stuff, and I think tiger trout, but the vast majority is rainbow. And that's the only ones you can keep anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. So you've got a 2 fish limit per person. And I turned up late, so I was meeting my uncle, my cousin, and my brother at this place to go fishing. And I turned up quite late because I was coming from London, and they were relatively nearby. And as I get there, I come in, and I just look down to the left by this bank, by this river they've been fishing. This pond, rather. And there's 5 fish. Sorry, 4 fish on the floor. And I look and I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? So they've already almost hit their own limit before I've even turned up. Okay, because there's only 3 of them. There's 6 is the limit for them, and they've already got 4. And then my brother is on the line with a fish. And I'm like,
amazing.
It's amazing, but I'm always like, oh my God, I need to start making some headway here, because if I don't start catching fish, I'm going to look like an absolute idiot.
They're just going to be waiting for you.
Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly. So I cast in, and I'm sort of trying to figure it out, but they've caught so many fish from this one spot that nothing's biting. So I go to the other side of the pond and I try it off this little pier, and it was just the perfect conditions, man. There was a bit of a breeze on the surface, but it was clear enough that you could see the fish you were trying to get. So for fly fishing, like, it's so fun. Like I love fly fishing when you can see the fish you're going for. It's like hunting almost. Whereas when I prefer coarse fishing, if it's just murky and there's no chance, you're just guessing. So anyway, you just put the fly right on the nose of these fish, and oh man, it was just so good. So anyway, all in all, we caught our full limit. So everyone caught 2, and we were catching extra and just throwing them back basically by the end. But because we'd finished our limit by like, I don't know, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and we had another we had hours left. So we just carried on fishing for a bit, and then we're just throwing them back. I think we caught like 12 fish in total. It was insane. Oh man, I cannot tell you how fun it was. It was so good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, just what you needed.
100%. That's good. Yeah, exactly.
It's such a peaceful pastime, isn't it? Like, oh, maybe not in your case, because every couple of minutes someone's like, "Oh my god, I've got another one."
Well, it kind of was peaceful, but yeah, it wasn't, because they would, if we weren't catching the fish, like they were going for the fly and then just darting off at the last second. Right. So you're like, oh, and then you're disappointment. So it was really an active day of fishing. Like you weren't leaving it in and just like waiting for a few minutes. You were just like constantly after these fish, just throwing it to a specific fish. It was oh man, so good.
Nice, dude.
And I cooked it up the other day and it was amazing. So,
that's the best part, the eating.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Nice.
Yeah.
How did you do it?
So so we got them back. We gutted them up. I took the head off, took the tail off, and then just filled it with butter, lemon, rosemary, thyme, and some leek.
Oh, nice.
Nice. The leek was good. The leek was good, and then just wrapped it in tin foil, shoved it in the oven.
Amazing.
Yeah.
On papillote.
On papillote, as you will. Yeah. Thank you for that pronunciation. I wouldn't have ever tried that. Quick tip for anyone baking a fish or on papillote with a fish: make sure the tin foil is tight as it can be. Because if
steam is key.
Steam is key.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this fish is not cooking anywhere near as quick as I was expecting it to, and it was just because it was nowhere near as tight. So that was a learning curve for me. So just a heads up.
Mate, film club time.
Okay.
So this week, what have I watched? Something that will interest you. I watched this back in the day, so I have seen this film before, but I started rewatching it yesterday. I've not finished it, but I'm sure it's right up your street.
Mm-hmm.
It's No Country for Old Men.
Yes. I love
you.
Just love
you love that dusty Texan, like brutal, agoraphobic, like 80s. Oh, mate, it's so good. It's so good.
I cannot. Oh man, I'm so glad. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I can't put my thoughts together quick enough to talk about how much I love this film. Yeah, 100%.
I remember watching it maybe 10 years ago, thinking that it wasn't quite snappy enough for me, and it was a bit drawn out and a bit long or whatever. But now, with age, I appreciate it, and I realised, no, we don't need to follow this trend of all films being an hour and a half and like throwaway rubbish.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're going to take our time and we're going to create a fantastic film, piece 100%. Of art, you know.
Yeah. I think you probably got a few Clint Eastwood westerns in you, and then you realised you saw the light.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the longer the better.
Yeah. The less dialogue, the better as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, it makes you think, how do these screenwriters write this? Because like 80% of the film is silent. Mm-hmm. So it's like, how do you describe that? Surely you've got to be really close with your director and your producer to be able to accurately get across the thing you're going for, because you can't use a lot of dialogue, because there isn't a lot of dialogue. So you've got to be, it's almost like a lot of scene setting. It must be. I mean, I've never seen a screenplay, but there's got to be that sort of thing.
So I watch a couple of, again on YouTube, they break down, excuse me, no they don't. They don't break down anything, but they play a scene from a film or a TV show, and then underneath it they have rolling the screenplay. Underneath it.
Ah, wow.
And you'll be surprised, I was surprised anyway, to see how much setting there was.
Right.
So I just watched one from Breaking Bad. Have you seen Breaking Bad?
A couple of episodes.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't really get on with it, to be honest. But...
Okay, cool. I won't spoil anything then, but basically it was saying like Hank falls down desperate. He's crying silently. He says all this stuff like the wind in the background is sort of slowly blowing as Hank falls onto his back, crying silently. This kind of stuff. and
Right.
and it was really detailed, but nothing had been said for like, I don't know,